Stan?
Yeah.
Melania Trump.
She's a party animal.
She's a little piggy didn't get invited to the party. She is moving to Washington, D.C. on
good.
June
That's where her husband
14th.
lives.
Right. Well, she and Barron are moving there June 14th. It's official. So there you go. I was wrong. Okay? You win.
Okay. Well, this is a real treat, both for local parochial reasons, but also because he is an innovator and extremely knowledgeable on one of the big topics of the day, the Paris Accord that Trump withdrew the United States from last week, and then the reaction from state and local governments of a particular political bent, like, I don't know, say Chicago, where Emmanuel Tiny Dancer yesterday signed an executive order committing Chicago to the guidelines of the Paris Agreement because the world is depending on cities in the U.S. to take up the mantle of leadership on climate change, and Chicago is accepting that challenge. Aren't you encouraged, as Chicago is the worst governed city in the nation in terms of any financial stability or quality of life
Oh, this is big news.
metric? So what about those states and localities that are just working around the federal government? They're certainly welcome to do it, I suppose. But is it good policy? For that, we're pleased to be joined by legendary Chicago weatherman and founder of the Weather Channel. He's John Coleman. Mr. Coleman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Jake. Hi, Amy. Hi, Chicago, where it's usually cooler near the lake and gorgeously warm and sunny in the boonies and superbugs. Great to be
Brings
with
me
you.
back to my childhood.
You still got it. Coleman still got it. So what about...
Hello, particularly to my two grandsons who still live there.
Oh, okay.
And also to Bruce Becker, who used to work for me, who's a crazy guy. And to Tom Skilling, who just can't get rid of his Algorian baloney. But he's a great guy.
I like it.
And a great former friend.
All right. Anybody else?
Any other shout-outs?
Anybody other shout-outs or shots?
Well, I'm done with my shout-outs. I'm not going to get involved in anything else other than a hi to you guys at WIND, where at one time I did the morning weather reports.
Love it. Love it. Great history here. So the position of cities like Pittsburgh and now Chicago who are adopting the guidelines of the Paris Accord, even though the United States isn't at the federal level, what do you say to those mayors and municipalities, local units of government?
Well, it's all political. You see, here's what happened. Al Gore was the one who took some kind of antiquated science and turned it into a major government-funded industry, and he was a Democrat. So every Democrat has to believe, I've emphasized the word believe, science you shouldn't believe, that's more for religion and politics. In science, it either is or isn't. But in any case, every Democrat feels very strongly that global warming is going to destroy the climate of Earth. And it become a total political issue, not a scientific issue. And I say, shame on them.
But so many people believe it. I mean, because I have a lot of meteorologist friends. I used to work at Channel 5 and in Detroit, and half of them say that it's true, and the other half think the other half is crazy.
Now, you said something important there, Amy. Meteorologists on TV, half of them think it's not 97%. In fact, a survey by the American Meteorological Society, which I was a member, professional member for many years, a society that honored me as a broadcast meteorologist of the year. The society, they did a survey, and about half, a little less than half of TV meteorologists supported the global warming frenzy. Well, isn't that interesting? It was 50-50. Now, that's science for you, where the scientists take different sides and debate the topic, not where they believe in something. But here's what it all boils down to. Carbon dioxide. The Al Gore of the world says we are pumping billions and billions of tons of carbon into the atmosphere. Well, what's he talking about? What we're doing is using fossil fuels, which when they are burned, emit CO2, carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. It's a little gas. It's absolutely invisible. It doesn't smell. You can't feel it. You can't see it. It's not smog hanging over the cities, anything. It's a little invisible gas. And after all these years of using fossil fuels, it is less than 1/2 of 1% of the atmosphere. It's almost nothing. And yet, scientists, because scientists get wrapped up in stuff, have come up with theories that this little greenhouse gas is some kind of spectacular warming, has some sort of warming impact. It's a tiny little greenhouse gas, as best I can tell, produces almost no impact. But yet, because the Earth is in natural warming, they take that little warming trend and they turn that into this giant crisis. Well, the crisis is phony, as best I can tell, and I've studied and studied and studied. I love this Earth. If I thought there was any possibility of coastal flooding or great droughts or superstorms, I would tell you, I would spread the word. But I can't find any evidence that that's valid at all. So enjoy the beautiful warm weather the next few days. I don't think those showers are really going to happen. If they do, they'll be a sprinkle.
We get a weather forecast.
It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous. Well, enjoy it.
John, let me ask you this, though. So there's incentives that are provided for people to politicize science. It could be government grant money. It could be kind of respect within peer groups that have already been politicized. What is it? So keep the academics on the sidelines for a second. What about meteorologists and the as you were talking about the TV weather people? Why would they ignore the data? Why would they ignore the fact that so many of the models have been wrong? Why would they ignore that?
Well, because they get totally wrapped up in it, and they find it makes them important. If they can say the sky is falling, we got a crisis, boy, people are going to listen to them. They're going to get on the top of the newscast with special reports. It's a tendency of people to want to get excited about something, and even TV weather people have biases. If they can find something that makes them important, I mean, if they say, "Oh, there's nothing to it, forget it," they don't even get on the newscast.
Well, do you know?
Say, "Hey, I got a big story for you. We're going to have flooding." They may read the newscast. That's a silliness.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
and do you know of any meteorologists who have been fired because they don't go along with climate change?
I don't know any meteorologists who have been fired, but I know one who didn't get hired.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When they brought back the old guys newscasts in Chicago a few years ago, they thought they'd try bringing the old guys back. They considered hiring me, and they said, "Oh my God, we can't do that. This man doesn't believe in climate change."
Well, you showed them. You founded the Weather Channel. What do you need them for?
Well, I had my moment, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. He is John Coleman, legendary Chicago weatherman, a meteorologist in Champaign, Peoria, Chicago, Milwaukee, Good Morning America, and the founder of the Weather Channel. A lot of great moments for John Coleman, and it was a great moment for us to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Hi to everybody.
Oh, thank you. He's the best. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.